Stand Up to Racism. Have you heard of this? So Stand Up to Racism is part of the Socialist Workers' Party, and it's funded by the unions basically, and by the government. And they mask a lot of their very left-wing policies under anti-racism. Yeah. It's similar to Antifa or BLM. Yeah. These very left-wing communist-based ideology organisations that are masking themselves under racism. And apparently, my understanding is allegedly that Stand Up to Racism were behind all of these counter demonstrations that took place. I mean, there's an interesting point here, isn't it? The headlines changed from communities brace for far-right anti-immigrant invasion to pro-immigrant communities defeat far-right invasion. Yeah. So, there's an interesting article I was reading where it said, so if I hang a big banner from my window saying, Vikings not welcome here, if no Viking has come up, can you actually take credit for it? So, these awful grubby anti-racists turned up in all these 100 places, and then, because nobody turned up, they said, we've defeated racism. That was the whole point of it. So it turns out the 100 riots in information was all a hoax. It's either someone trolling or it was someone setting it up to get the result they wanted, which was no one turning up and then claiming credit for it. So you're right, so all those demonstrations from the socialist workers, Stand Up to Racism, all the blue-haired fat lesbians and all the woke fools and everybody like that all turning up, all with the chants, and nothing happened, and it was like, we beat them. This is how easy it is to beat the far right, who don't exist in the UK. Yeah. So it was easy to beat because it's an imaginary foe. The next day they got all the press attention that we drove the far right off the streets, which were afraid to appear, apart from the Muslim areas, because the Muslim areas had gangs of youths all masked up with sticks and swords and knives going around trying to batter anybody who looked far right to them, which meant white. Also seeing off the far right racists as well. Yeah. And the parallels to draw here, I don't know if you've drawn this yet, but I don't know where I heard this or whether I've just thought it myself, I can't remember. There's an exact parallel to COVID. An invisible enemy that doesn't exist. And we've beaten it. We've got the vaccines. Look, here's your vaccine. We've vaccinated everybody. COVID's not here anymore. It's disappeared. Something that never really existed or only was a mild flu or whatever. The idea, and it's the same as the Vikings, no Vikings welcome here, no far-right thugs welcome here, no COVID welcome here. And look, there isn't, everybody's fine, nobody. So it's an exact replica of that approach. Creating an organisation, creating processes, creating systems to destroy an enemy that doesn't exist. It's an exact replica. It is, but that's the top layer of what you're looking at. It goes a lot deeper and more sinister below that. So do we think these people just want an opportunity to march on the street, shout Nazis go home, and then they go home feeling good about themselves? Do we think people invested lots of money and time just for that to happen? No, that's the easy outcome of that. Once you look below this, that's why socialist worker, these agencies and organisations are involved. This is about sowing the seeds for the destruction of the West. This is about ensuring society collapse so these socialist worker parties and people who are funding them can build a socialist utopia in the UK and across the West. They're trying to use ethnic minorities as the foot soldiers, as what made to... It's a good example would be Queers for Palestine. Everybody laughs at Queers for Palestine, go, no, those idiots don't know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing. Queers for Palestine are basically socialists who are saying, if we can team up with Hamas and the Islamists pull down Western Europe and capitalism, then we can step into the void and build our socialist utopia. So at the moment, queers are for Palestine because it's a way we're going to get what we want. Once we've got what we want, we have to fight each other and we'll kill the Islamists. So they know what they're doing. This is all about communism and communist takeover of the Western world. Yeah, they're leveraging on any populist or or what they regard as progressive ideology in order to gain more of a foothold in what they're trying to do, basically.
And they're bringing more and more people on board because they've rebranded themselves anti-racist.
Yeah.
Who isn't an anti-racist? The word anti-racist now just means anti-English. That's what I think it means.
Yeah.
Did you see the...
That's really interesting.
Did you see the anti-racist march on Deansgate over the weekend? That may have been Sunday.
No, I didn't.
Saturday or Sunday it was. People videoed it. They marched up Deansgate until they got outside the Witherspoons pub, the Moon Under the Water.
Is that the one right at the end of Deansgate? Yeah, I know the one.
And then they all stood there, banging drums, chanting at the people sat outside.
Oh, I heard, because there's some young white guys sitting outside with Port Vale
the football fans.
Yeah.
But so anti-racists marched up the road until they found a venue which they think are full of white scum, and then they stopped outside that venue with police protection and started barracking the people sat in a pub having a drink before a football match. And that's who our anti-racists are. They're anti-English. They saw those people in that pub as white scum. You're the racist. Hey, you're in a Witherspoons. The owner of Witherspoons doesn't even like the EU. You must be racist. You're drinking lager when you could get a nice French wine or some Spanish Pinot Noir or something.
Were these, I mean, just interestingly, were these, not wishing to frame everything in colour, but were these protesters white or brown, or what were they?
There was a mixture, but lots of white people there.
Yeah.
And they had drums.
Yeah.
So it was, they were playing drums, and it looked like a nice day out.
Yeah, yeah. And it's sinister, isn't it? And when I was walking in front of the Palestine walk the other day, they had all the drums. It was very organised. Yeah. You're right. Lots of white people there, middle class looking people
exactly.
as well.
And then what looked even more sinister was it stops outside the Witherspoons. The police who were guiding them all lined up outside Witherspoons, facing Witherspoons, to protect the protesters from the evil white scum who.
So they weren't facing the protesters; they were facing the
patrons having a drink sat outside.
So now a white guy in England can't sit in a Wetherspoons and have a drink without being branded a racist, basically.
By protesters and by the police who think I've got to watch him because he may attack these protesters.
It's insanity.
Insanity. The police had to stop one of the protests getting to them. Yeah. But all the football fans stood there singing football songs at them. They were just football fans having a quiet drink before that group of lunatics turned up.
So you believe that all these protests, whether it's pro-Palestine, stand up for race, anti-racist, are organised and marshalled by these very shadowy communist organisations, basically, who are leveraging on any particular popular cause to advance their position in terms of establishing a left-wing communist-like society in this. Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me if some of the funding are coming from some of our enemies. It wouldn't surprise me if Putin's funding some of it, or China or Iran, not because they believe in it, but because this is the UK internally destroying itself. And we do it to other countries. Yeah. We fund dissidents in other countries to bring down regimes. It wouldn't surprise me if it's happening in this country.
Well, I think what's interesting about SUTR, Stand Up to Racism, it's funded by the British trade unions.
Yep.
So the irony there is the British trade unions, their subscribers, their members are typically white working class men.
Yeah.
And they're paying money into the unions to then promote messages of as you say, anti-racist, anti-white messages.
They also almost completely fund the Labour Party. Why do you think the Labour Party is completely woke? Yeah. Why do you think the trade unions are completely woke? The unions wouldn't be funding the Labour Party if they had opinions they didn't like, such as we're going to stick up just for working class people. Trade unions were corrupted a long time ago.
But then why do working men pay into them then?
Because it's, well, first of all, members are been going down further. And unions now only really exist within the public sector. The public sector. It's, you know, the only people now members of unions are people who work
Of
for
course.
the government.
Yeah. So my idea, it might be what it's not. It's mainly public sector
That's
people.
public sector, and they're all woke. So this is hence why they support each other and group together. They've all got the same mindset, and none of it is about supporting working class people, and definitely not supporting white working class people. Did you enjoy that video? I think you did. Come on now, hit that bell, subscribe, comment. Let's build this channel. I need more followers. I need more subscribers. Be part of the journey. See you soon.